how surprised were you that he got the knockout, especially so early?
You know, I was telling Louis DeCubas Jr. and I was telling anybody that would listen, I felt very confident we were going to get the knockout, especially when training camp was in Las Vegas. When we were in Las Vegas, I I, I felt really, really confident that we were going to stop him inside the distance. Now, when we had to go to Mexico, and then the food was different, and some of those things that we had to deal with to make the weight, then I'm like, I mean, that really put us behind the eight ball. But that said, I told Louis before the fight, I said, if anybody's going to do it, it's Carlos Adames. His talent level to me is second to none. And I was telling Al Bernstein that, I was telling Morrow that, and Morrow came up to me after the fight. He goes, one thing about you, man, you don't lie. I said, I try to keep it 100. Just because he's my fighter, I try to take a step back and just analyze it, just looking at him as a talent level. And like I said, he's second to none. So Carlos doing what he did doesn't surprise me a bit.
Okay. All right. You mentioned the food in Mexico. Was there a concerted effort for him not to eat beef? Because we know out there's been problems where if you eat,
you know what's funny is, so we had red meat out there one time, and I told Carlos, what we normally do to get ready for the fights. We have so many days we're going to go red meat or not. And so I says, hey, we're around that time. You need to get some red meat in him. And he already had red meat one time. And he goes, Coach, I don't want to do it twice. Oh, we got to do it. We'll be okay. He goes, Coach, I don't want to do it twice. I don't want to take that chance. And I said, okay, Carlos. I said, but I think if we had two steaks over there, I don't think it would be too bad. But he goes, no, I don't want to take that chance. I said, okay, that's fine. We'll stick with chicken tonight.
Hey man, that's smart. That's smart. So you mentioned that he's one of, if not the most talented fighter you've ever trained. You've mentioned that to me on our last interview, and also they mentioned it on the telecast as well that you told them in the fighters meeting. Well, what is it that sets Carlos apart from the other fighters you've worked with? What is it? What is his skill set that really puts him at a distance with the other fighters?
It's just God-given ability. At the end of the day, you have trainers saying, oh, I did this or I did that. The reality of it is this. I'll give you a baseball analogy. You got a guy who throws 100 miles an hour. That can't be taught. And anybody who says, oh, I had him push off the mound a little bit, that's great. Let's take 100 guys and we'll have them push off the mound a little bit. And let's see him throw 100 miles an hour. That's God-given ability. Plain and simple. That's all him.
So he's just a natural fighter.
He's just a God-given ability. His just the crispness of his punches, his reaction time. It's just God-given ability, and It's that simple. And anybody says different, I'm not here to take that kind of credit from that guy. That'd be doing a disservice to his God-given talent. His foot speed is, it's unbelievable. I'll give you an example. One day we did a pretty grueling run. And my son played college basketball. My son was one of only 9 kids in 2017 who was 6 foot and under to get a basketball scholarship in the United States of America. So he's a pretty decent athlete. Mm-hmm. And they got done. Carlos did a grueling run. And he says, let's do sprints. And my son's pretty fast. He played point guard, like I said, in college. He played against Cal Poly. They played against Stanford. So they played pretty high level at his school. And they got done. After a long run, he's running through the mountains and they sprinted, and Carlos just blew him away like he was tied to a pole. And that's when you just go, this guy's just different.
Okay.